By several individuals.
All right, thank you all so much for tuning in. We're about to get started. Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us for this quick live stream that we're going to do. We have a great conversation with y'all tonight. We have Bret and Ramon with us, and we're going to dive into this new partnership and cooperative that you all have a huge role and opportunity within to really help us move our climate goals through your own actions at your home. And so, without further ado, we're going to jump right into it with introductions. But before we do that, folks, help us spread the word. Share this video wherever you can and with your peers, your neighbors, and help us spread this message of this opportunity. And again, thank you for tuning in. We have Ramon DC Alatorre with us, who is the Climate and Energy Coordinator at the City of Flagstaff. Ramon, thank you for joining us. And we also have Bret Fanshaw, who is with the Arizona Program Director with Solar United Neighbors, with us tonight. Thank you both for being with us. Bret, let's start with you. Give us just an introduction on yourself and your background, and what is it about solar that inspires you to do the work you're doing?
Yeah, well, thanks, Councilman. Really excited to be here. Thanks for the opportunity. So Bret Fanshaw, I'm the State Program Director with Solar United Neighbors. And I've been doing environmental and energy work in Arizona since 2009 and kind of came to it right out of college and was really worried about climate change and seeing the opportunity that this country presents with clean energy and that it can put money back in people's pockets, put people to work, and protect the environment at the same time. And so, what better place to be doing solar energy than the state of Arizona? And, unfortunately, we've done a lot in the last, especially 15 years, but there's a lot more that we can do, and there's a lot more we can do to bring the benefits to communities and to real households, and rooftop solar is a really great way to do that. So really excited to be at the helm of Solar United Neighbors state work in Arizona. And that's what we do. And so I've been in this role for about 2 years, and we're running solar co-ops all across the state, from rural communities to metro areas. And so really excited to be here and just talk more about all of it.
That's great, and thank you for sharing that. That's really exciting to have you working on this, and again, gratitude that we're doing this partnership here in Northern Arizona. And what I loved about what you said is, this is very empowering to folks and homeowners to be part of that solution and part of that effort to capture the energy that here in Arizona is fairly ample and available. Ramon, you are here in the city of Flagstaff. You're a local. You work for the city. What drives you on this topic and makes you passionate about solar and sustainability?
Thank you, Councilmember, and thanks for the opportunity. Yep, Ramon DC Alatorre. I am the Climate and Energy Coordinator with the City of Flagstaff, and I actually just celebrated my 1-year anniversary with the city just a couple of days ago. So it's been a really exciting. I like to tell the story that on my second day of work is when the community came together and spent 3 hours asking council to declare a climate emergency declaration. And I guess I would say
I remember
that's
that.
one of the things that gives me energy. I think there's a lot of recognition of kind of where we are, that we've been kicking the can down the road for too long, and there's an opportunity to take action, and that opportunity to take action comes with a lot of co-benefits. A lot of the things that Bret was talking about of um, people being able to save some money on their energy bills, and there's a lot of jobs available in solar. I was listening to something this weekend, and it was something like 8.3 jobs for every megawatt of distributed solar installed by one study. And we're going to need a lot more of it, and I think it's going to be a real opportunity for a lot of people, whether it's on their own roof or otherwise.
So, Mr. Alatorre, tell us about this partnership and some of those benefits as to how this partnership works and what it is that we are signing up for as a community.
Sure. Well, I'll allow Bret to detail some of the way the co-op itself works, but I can talk a little bit about the partnership. We were excited when we saw the work that Solar United Neighbors is doing in the solar co-op model that they have had all around the country, as well as in Arizona. We're not the first solar co-op that they're doing in Arizona. I think we're actually maybe the 5th or 6th at this point. And when we saw the work that they were doing, they're a nonprofit. They're helping people by getting them a lot of information. They're also helping lower the prices because of essentially what's bulk purchasing, and there's no obligation to be a part of it. So it feels like a lot of win-wins. And when we started having conversations with Bret, it was originally going to be the Flagstaff Solar Co-op, and we were like, no, let's expand this. Like, this is partnership, this is collaboration. City of Sedona is part of this. Coconina County is part of this. We wanted to make this the Northern Arizona Co-op because we really wanted to expand this as far as it could go. It's a really good example of where we can just lift up and amplify the good work that's being done by other organizations. What we're getting out of this is mostly having good community conversations, and then Solar United Neighbors takes the rest.
That's so great, and I really appreciate you bringing up that partnership and that this is an expanded relationship, not just with the city of Flagstaff, but the county, Sedona. We can't reach our goals alone in Flagstaff and think that the job is done. This is going to take a all hands on deck approach by everybody all across the community, the state, and in the globe, quite frankly. And so this is a great effort, and I'm so proud of our team locally for kind of establishing this and bringing this opportunity not just to Flagstaff, but to the region. Bret, talk to us about the benefits and how this co-op works.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're really excited that the co-op also expanded from Flagstaff to the Northern Arizona community-wide. I think it makes a ton of sense. And, just the quick scoop on how the co-op works is, you can think about this like a buyer's club for rooftop solar. So this is a set of households that are all kind of raising their hands and saying, I'm ready to think about going solar and do it kind of at the same time that my neighbors are doing it. And there's a lot of efficiencies in that and economies of scale that then can lower the cost for all the folks that are doing solar at the same time, because the installation company can buy lots of solar panels in bulk at the same time. They can go to the city and get the permits all done at the same time. They can go to the same neighborhoods and talk to more people than they would have talked to, than just kind of dealing with folks individually. And, then they also know that they have a group of folks that are probably a little more educated than their average customer, where they have to come in and really give them all of the solar education that it can take for somebody to say yes. And we do a lot of that up front to say, hey, we don't, we don't have really a lot of skin in the game if you decide to go solar or not. We just want you to make an informed decision. And that can be helpful to a lot of folks that are thinking, that are hearing lots of different things, right? Like, there's a lot of kind of like bad information that's out there. And so we try to cut through the noise and just give people real information that's not coming from a solar company, but it's coming from, experts that kind of understand this stuff and are just trying to help. And so when we build up a group, once we get critical mass, which we're already past, by the way, in the Northern Arizona group, which is really exciting. Usually critical mass for us is like 30 or 40 households. We're already at 66.
Wow.
Which is great. And it's due to a lot of the great work that DC and the communities are doing to spread the word. And so we're trying to get to 100 households, and I think we'll easily get there. But that is going to make our bids really competitive. So installation companies, and we're trying to make sure all the local installation companies know about this opportunity, can then bid to serve the group, and they know upfront, hey, we've got at least 66 right now households, and provide pricing accordingly. And then we run a democratic process where members of the co-op will come together. We review the bids that we receive, and those members vote on which company to choose for the group itself. So we're not choosing the company. The city's not choosing the company. This is the group's co-op, and it's their decision. So we just facilitate.
And Bret, that group, remind me, how is that group created?
So the decision-making group?
Yep.
So any member of the co-op can participate in we call it the selection committee. And so we'll send out a note and say, are folks available on this day, and bring people together. And it's like a 3-hour meeting where we run through a very detailed spreadsheet, because we ask the companies for a ton of information. We ask them for pricing, the types of equipment, their warranties, experience in the field. And then we also ask them a bunch of other things like, do you pay a living wage? And what percentage of your employees are, women or people of color? There's a lot of things that kind of go into the decision of the group's decision of which companies to pick. And it tends not to be just the company that has the lowest price.
That's great. I see there's a question in our chat. Dennis, thank you for tuning in. Dennis asks, is all the solar power on a grid line, or is it battery backed up for individuals?
So that's a great question, and something that we get a lot. And we do get battery storage pricing from the installers, and they will offer that as an option. But pretty much everybody that's going solar is still going to be connected to the utility grid. And that's for a couple of reasons. One is you want to have power at night, or when your solar is not producing. So you want to be able to extract from the grid, or if your batteries don't have enough power. And then you also get credits back from the utility when you have extra solar power. And so when you're sending that back to APS, for example, they give you a credit of per unit solar that you send them back. And that helps you pay off your solar investment in the long term. So, yep. But battery is an option, and more people are starting to think about it as those costs are coming down.
That's great. Thank you for that. And Bret, in this opportunity, are individuals buying their solar panels themselves?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the way solar is, so individuals are buying solar. They get an individual proposal, and so, but it's based on the group rates. So not to get into too much detail, but solar is essentially priced by the watt. So you're going to buy like a number of, like the average size that we see is around 7 kilowatts of solar, which is 7,000 watts of kind of capacity. And so that's priced at a certain rate. And so someone might get a 5 kilowatt system if you have a smaller house, or someone might get a 10 or a 12 kilowatt system. And so those will be priced accordingly, but but your proposal will be based on the group rate that was bid into the co-op by the installer.
Ramon, anything to add to that?
No, I don't think so. Perhaps just to emphasize, I know a lot of people are excited about battery connections, and perhaps Bret can say a little bit more. But when they're putting out the bids, as Bret was saying, there'll be companies that can sort of talk about what battery options they may be able to have, and if that's important to a lot of people in the co-op, and that selection committee is getting together, they may be considering companies that would have batteries as at least an option that they can talk to co-op members about. And if there's another company that isn't dealing with batteries, maybe that's not the right company. But would that be accurate, Bret?
Yeah, we had that experience actually last week. So we had a selection committee in Phoenix, and we provide the committee all of the details about what people said when they signed up. So, this many people want a good price, this many people want a good warranty, this many people are interested in batteries. By the way, we also ask people, are you interested in an electric vehicle charger? So that's an important part of the climate and energy conversation. But there's a lot of crossover between electric vehicles and solar ownership. But we had 15 of the 35 group members were interested in batteries, and there was one of the 5 companies that wasn't offering a battery option, and so they were pretty much eliminated right away because right. That's just what it was.
That's great. Kat, thank you for tuning in. Kat has a question. Can you be part of this co-op if you have solar already but need to upgrade your batteries and maybe other solar equipment?
Yes, you can. So we ask installers if they can offer, it's called a battery storage retrofit, and to give pricing on that. So it's usually, they'll usually give a little bit of a discount on the battery if you're getting solar with them as well. But then they can tell you if they have the engineering capability to also add a battery to an existing system, but it's possible to do. And most people, by the way, are getting batteries as a backup option. So if you live in an area that has frequent outages and you want to have power when those outages occur, you need to have the battery is what you would need to get, because your solar is going to stop providing power during an outage. And that's for utility line safety issues. We don't want to pump energy back into the grid when the line workers are trying to fix it.
Thank you. And Dennis has a quick follow-up. He asks, so without battery backup, which I think you just spoke to, that battery backup is important, and the grid goes down, lights off, and can you have your own system in Flagstaff off the grid? I want to say you can, and people do have batteries powered solar operations here in Flagstaff as backups. If you're going 100% off grid, I think that you can. But Ramon, can you speak to that? You might know better than I can.
Fortunately, I'm actually not that familiar with on-grid, off-grid specific issues in Flagstaff.
I think we see it more in, and we actually got this question from the Northern Arizona Co-op. Somebody wrote in recently, and it sounds like they're building a new building maybe out in the county somewhere, and they don't have an existing connection to the utility. And so in that case, you might consider it, just because you have to pay to get hooked up and everything else, but it may not really make sense to kind of cut your connection to the utility if you're already connected, because for the reasons I said earlier, which one is, you want to just have that backup option. So if your batteries are drained or whatever, like, you have the utility as an option, and sending energy back to APS helps you pay off your solar system over time. And so if you're off the grid, you can't do that.
It offsets your price. Ramon, can you speak, more broadly to how this fits into our climate goals at the city and our emergency declaration, and kind of what piece of the pie does this effort potentially have?
Sure. So climate action in Flagstaff has been, as you said, recently upgraded for some increased urgency. My second day on the job. Prior to my starting at the city, the Climate Action and Adaptation Plan set a goal of 80% community reductions by the year 2050. The Climate Emergency Declaration called for an increase in urgency for carbon neutrality by the year 2030. So that's 20 years sooner, and carbon neutrality is a different goal than just focusing on reductions. There's carbon neutrality is this framework of accountability, as I like to call it. And so we've certainly been having lots of conversations with the community. I might take just a moment to plug the fact that we just launched our open house platform. Nice. If you follow any of the Flagstaff sustainability social media accounts, you'll be able to find information on that. But we've launched this platform. It's got 21 videos on it from community members and experts, kind of detailing all of the things that are sort of required in order to get to carbon neutrality. And I think to get to your point, Adam, we know that sort of one of the 7 key areas for achieving carbon neutrality is that we need cleaner electricity, cleaner renewable electricity, and that with that on board as a resource that unlocks a lot of opportunities, from fuel switching to electric vehicles to any number of things. The fact that you can tap into clean electricity makes a lot of things possible. And so, there's certainly work that the city can do to try to bring more clean renewable electricity online. The utilities certainly got a part of it. But things like this also have a part of it. The individuals that are going to be able to take advantage of an opportunity like this for bulk pricing, discounted opportunity to put solar on their roof and be able to really take some economic advantage for themselves. Right. If you've got the resources to be able to do that, and it's an interesting opportunity, then we want to be able to facilitate that as well. Because some of it will be led by the city, and a lot of work that needs to be done will have to happen sort of in the marketplace. And to me, this is an example of the marketplace being able to rise to the occasion and help bring on a significant amount of renewable electricity for our community.
And the city being able to help leverage the populations and the buying ability of a larger population through agencies like Sun and the work that Bret does. And that's just a great opportunity. It's amazing to see how engaged our community is here in Flagstaff on the topic of climate. And there's a lot of youth involved, which is incredible. And I really think that now we've done the talk, we've put it onto paper, we've gotten it approved by our policy setters, and the city is working on our own issues and our own topics of ways that we can address this internally and externally through our efforts. But you, the people, really are the ones that are going to help take this and run with it. And the leverage that you all are going to help us achieve through these efforts is massive. So this is really a time where, we put our money where our mouth's at and really kind of take advantage of an opportunity, and while also working towards our values and the change we want to see through individual actions, which is great. Folks, we're about to wind down, so please ask any questions in the next minute or two. Thank you for posting that, Bret, in the comments section. There's a link that folks can go to join. I did want to quickly share this, and I'm going to put a link in the video description as to the steps that you can take to actually engage and do the things we're talking about. I think this is what I want to share. No, it's this one, I believe. Yes. Okay, so I grabbed this. Ramon or Bret, do either of you want to talk to these sections of steps and what's going on here?
Yeah, absolutely. I can do that. So this synthesizes the process, and essentially, the steps are: number 1, just learn about the co-op. Number 2, go to the website and sign up. And if you want to really dig in, we have a webinar next week on Tuesday, February 9th at 6 o'clock. And so you can get like a full we provide a lot of information. It's a full hour, and you hopefully will walk away knowing everything that you would ever want to know about putting solar on your house. And if you don't have time to come to a live webinar, we have a recording of the last webinar we did at the co-op website, so people can go and just check it out on YouTube. But then we ask people to grow the co-op so that we can, get to that critical mass and continue to add people, so we can help to drive the cost down, and also just get more folks to join, to go solar and be part of the movement. And then we'll do the competitive RFP process, or request for proposal. So this is where installers will bid and can offer up all of that information. And then co-op members will choose one company out of those bids. And then we'll have a sign-up deadline for the co-op. So that's March 31st. So there's a couple of months here that we can continue to promote the co-op and get at least 100 people signed up. And then from there, the chosen installer will work through the group. And so they'll start calling folks, meeting with folks. All the installers we talk to have COVID protocols, and you can do this. You can go solar with pretty much no contact. So you can meet with someone virtually. They can come to your house, and you don't have to go outside to see them. They can just check out your roof and your electrical equipment. It's all a pretty safe process. And then you'll get a customized proposal after visiting with the installer based on the group pricing. So it's all tailored to people's budgets and your electricity use and the size of your roof, and there's just a lot of factors. But from there, you can decide whether you want to sign a contract or not. Like DC said, the co-op is free to join, and there's no requirement to go solar in signing up for the co-op. You can just do it to get more information. And then we do. Transparency is important to our organization, and so we let everybody know that every contract that does get signed, the installer pays us $600 per contract, and that helps us to fund our work as a nonprofit to organize these groups. I mean, that's pretty much all we get out of doing that, and we ask them to build that into the pricing, so it's not an additional fee; it's just built into the discounted pricing. And that's pretty much it.
And number 8.
Well, and then in the past we used to have a house party at somebody's house that went solar. So we're not going to do that right now, but we have been doing virtual celebrations, and we've been trying to do things to keep people connected, in the time that we're living in, and so we've been doing a lot of virtual happy hours or hangouts or these webinars to sort of just meet people where they're at, which is, it's a good organizing principle. And that's part of this co-op thing too, is let's connect with other folks that are doing this at the same time you're learning at the same time, and hopefully create some connections.
Yep, absolutely. And there's the website you're going to go to. We're going to put more information into the description of this video to lay out all these things we've discussed. Dennis has one last quick comment. Once you are on your system, once your system is basically, I think what he's asking is the kilowatt cost frozen, or can it go up accordingly?
So I'll try to get at what he means, but the cost of the solar is going to be set, and then the cost of electricity may go up over time. So utilities, it's probably like a 2% on average per year increase in energy costs, just like inflation. And so that's similar over time. Unfortunately, the credits are kind of going down for solar in Arizona over time, but they're being set right now in tranches. So if you go solar through the Flagstaff co-op, you'll get a pretty decent rate back from APS for at least the next 10 years. But if you wait till next year to go solar, you'll get 10% less back per unit you send to APS for a period of 10 years. And that's just the Corporation Commission's rules about how to credit solar right now. So we do a lot of policy work as well, and try to engage folks in policy conversations. So probably a topic for a different day, but that's where a lot of those prices come from.
Well, Bret and Ramon, thank you both so much for sharing your time and your insight and your work here. Let's celebrate this huge partnership opportunity. Folks, help spread the word, get the information out. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for considering this and having an open mind in this conversation and doing your part to help the city reach its goals. We're going to take this conversation over to Instagram. Feel free to spread the word, jump on Instagram and join us there. But again, thank you both for sharing your time and looking forward to future discussions about this.
Thank you.
Thank you.